Fox 5 News at 10 starts right now.
We have breaking news tonight. A second state senator has tested positive for coronavirus. Kay Kirkpatrick, who represents District 32, made that announcement on her Facebook page in just the last hour.
We've also temporarily waived all interest on federally held student loans.
It's something millions of Americans have wanted, but certainly not under these circumstances. And the president is making changes that will impact local high school students as well.
And in a space where it can be crowded, social distancing is hard. Fox 5's Brian Hill is live tonight outside a local jail where some detainees are being released early.
Plus, Georgia's death toll now stands at 14. And while confirming cases are creeping up toward 500, state officials are sending a team to one particular county.
Throughout our country, Americans from all walks of life are rallying together to defeat the unseen enemy striking our nation.
Many of those Americans are on the front line of this deadly pandemic. How a local nurse describes the hard work happening right now in hospitals.
And while medical professionals work around the clock, thousands of Americans are just looking for a job. We'll tell you about the companies that are hiring as the demand for essential products surges. But we begin tonight with the announcement that impacts 42 million Americans tonight. That's the number of people with student loans. Good evening. I'm Russ Spencer.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Thank you for joining us tonight. President Trump says interest on federal student loans will be waived for at least 60 days with no penalties. Payments are also suspended. The president also announced standardized test requirements will not be enforced during the coronavirus pandemic as public schools have shut down in several states, forcing students to stay home.
They've been through a lot. They've been going back and forth, schools open, schools not open. It's been all standardized testing, and it's we're not going to be enforcing that, so I think you can let the people know. I think probably a lot of the students would be extremely happy, some probably not.
Another announcement impacts even more Americans. We're talking about taxes. The president has pushed back the filing deadline to July 15th. This will allow taxpayers and businesses time to file and make payments without penalties.
Plus, there are new restrictions at the southern border tonight as the White House works to stop the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. Starting at midnight, there will be no non-essential travel to Mexico. This new restriction excludes commercial trade and commerce. The plan is similar to restrictions already announced on all but essential travel and trade between the U.S. and Canada.
Both our countries know the importance of working together to limit the spread of the virus and ensure that commerce that supports our economy continues to keep flowing. Here too, the United States is glad to have a friend who's working side by side us in the fight.
The relationship's never been better. We're all working for toward the same goal.
Back in Georgia now, a second state senator has tested positive for COVID-19. State Senator Kay Kirkpatrick says she started feeling sick last Saturday night and immediately self-quarantined. Kirkpatrick says she was tested on Sunday, and late today, her results came back positive. Kirkpatrick says, I have followed the strict protocol recommended by DPH and am comfortable that I have not put anyone at risk. 4 more Georgians have died from COVID-19, bringing the total now to 14. And late tonight, the Georgia Department of Public Health released an updated list of confirmed cases. We now have 485 cases of coronavirus, a 24-hour increase of about 200 patients. Experts say one reason for the spike in cases is because there are more tests being processed every day now. 6 of the deaths are all from one county, Doherty, Georgia. The state health department as well as the CDC are working together to send a team of epidemiologists to investigate the growing number of cases in Albany. The initial focus will be on infections at Phoebe Putney Hospital as well as long-term care facilities.
Now, COVID-19 has no boundaries, of course, and that's why local jails are constantly working to make sure the virus doesn't spread inside their facilities. Fox 5's Brian Hill spent today at the Fulton County Jail learning how they plan to keep inmates and employees safe. Brian, one thing they're doing is releasing some people early, right?
That's right. So to help with overcrowding, the sheriff's office says inmates with release dates are being considered. So far, they have already let 15 people go. However, they did say their main focus right now is making sure this virus does not get inside. Inmate workers are doing round-the-clock cleaning inside the Fulton County Jail.
If a virus was to infect the facility, we would have a major problem.
Here you can see an inmate using an electrostatic sprayer to disinfect a common area.
And they are wiping down every possible surface that they see that are touched by the general public and by our staff members.
The constant sanitation is to prevent the coronavirus from seeping into the facility. Lieutenant Colonel Adam Lee III tells us none of their more than 2,000 inmates have contracted the deadly virus. Their major focus is screening folks coming and going.
And we ask the questions. Have you traveled? Have you been exposed?
But the jail will soon do more intense screening.
Able to obtain those non-invasive thermometers or temperature apparatuses. What we want to do is we want to check every single shift, every single day, coming and going. Anybody who enters the building will get a temperature check.
They also have new protocol in place for incoming inmates. They will be isolated for 14 days to help with social distancing. Lee says the department is hoping to help with overcrowding by releasing some inmates early.
We're trying to get them out, and it's working to an extent. Our population has dwindled down maybe about 7% in the last week.
They have also temporarily suspended their weekend jail program. Inmate visitation is still suspended. Coming up at 11, find out how the jail says they will respond if they believe an inmate has contracted the virus. Live in Fulton County, Brian Hill, Fox 5 News.
Chief Meteorologist David Chandler here with you on this Friday night. We're dealing with a few showers out there and very mild temperatures. Our warmest day of the year was today. We hit 83. Now we're retreated into the 60s with some showers nearby, 70s down here to the south. All right, so we're waiting on some rain, and we've seen some up here across parts of North Georgia. Take a look at Fox 5 Live Viper. So stretch from Rabun County, Habersham County, all the way on into Union County, Fannin County with some wet weather right now. No thunderstorms that I'm seeing. Not yet anyway, but we are looking at some pretty good rainfall. That's in Paulding County out towards Haralson County and east central Alabama, where more is rolling in here. And here it is out here across much of that state, and that is tracking in this general direction. And I think that's going to happen now through the overnight hours. So we could have a rumble of thunder, but there's not a severe weather threat. Good news there as we march on through. Here we are in March, kind of the midst of severe weather season, and we're not having to battle severe storms here in our region. That is certainly some great news. Temperatures now settling only back down into the low in the mid 60s for the most part, right on through the overnight, and we'll see a few lingering showers. But watch what happens by early tomorrow morning. Yeah, the showers end, the clouds start kicking on out, and the temperatures are going to start rising again. Not quite as warm as today, but certainly above the seasonal average of the mid 60s. I think a lot of spots will see the low, even some mid 70s down here on the south side, a little bit cooler up there across parts of North Georgia. And we are looking at a fairly dry Saturday, and then most of Sunday should be rain free. But by the back half of Sunday, we'll bring some more rain in here. We'll map that out as well as temperatures ahead next week. Stay with us.
All right, David, thanks. So many of us are thinking about our healthcare providers right now as they work so tirelessly during the fight against coronavirus. They really are on the front lines of this pandemic. Fox 5's Justin Felder spoke with one nurse from our area about what he is seeing.
Registered nurses are used to doing whatever is asked, and it's often different day by day. We spoke to a Decula High School alum who's worked at several different hospitals in the Augusta area. Now, normally he's a psychiatric emergency nurse, but these days he's on the front lines of the fight against COVID-19.
It's an all-hands-on-deck approach.
Corey Zeller is a registered nurse helping his hospital with coronavirus testing and has a message for people of his generation.
Age does not make you immune to COVID-19. And I think that's something a lot of young people are struggling with.
At work, he's seen testing ramp up. People get sick, but
just walking around Augusta, it seems as if people are continuing their routines. Parks are busy. Families are having reunions. Children are out in masses on the playground. It's extremely important to be selfless during this time. You need to think about other people. You need to think about the most vulnerable people.
And as for healthcare providers, they're up for the job, he says, even if none of them know exactly what the future holds.
Whatever is necessary, all of us nurses, this is our life, this is our passion. We'll do what's necessary to fight this virus, even if it injures us as well.
Now, Corey, who is the son of a Fox 5 employee, normally works mostly in addiction and psychiatric health. Now, coming up on the News Edge at 11, he'll have advice for people dealing with anxiety and stress during the COVID-19 outbreak. I'm Justin Felder, Fox 5 News.
Still ahead tonight in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
This is a tough fight. The American people are tougher.
And some people are fighting to find a job.
And said that they were going to have to terminate our employment at this time because they just don't have the work because of the coronavirus.
Still others are fighting to keep the spirit alive in their communities.
It's time to be creative.
Which local companies are hiring and how you can help your neighbors.
A second TSA worker at Atlanta's airport has now tested positive for COVID-19. Officials tell Fox 5 the screening worker last worked on March 16th from 10 in the morning until around 8:30 at night. This news comes just days after another TSA worker at Hartsfield-Jackson International tested positive for the coronavirus. Nationwide, there is a total of 14 TSA screening officers with coronavirus and one checked baggage screener. As we mentioned at the top of the hour, in an effort to limit travel, the U.S. has banned non-essential travel to Mexico. The announcement comes just 2 days after President Trump's decision to halt non-essential travel with Canada. Here is what the president is saying about how North America is working together.
The actions we're taking together with our North American partners will save countless lives. So we're treating the borders equally, the northern border and the southern border. They're both being treated equally. A lot of people say that they're not treated equally. Well, they are.
And while North America has closed off its borders within the continent, questions are surfacing about whether the U.S. is on track for a nationwide lockdown. California, Illinois, and New York have already put in place statewide restrictions. Here's what Vice President Mike Pence's chief of staff had to say when reporters asked whether the nation's leaders are planning to do the same.
The federal government's responsibility is to provide state and local officials with the best information possible to make those decisions. That's the way our federalist system works, and that's what's most appropriate. I don't see that sort of mandate coming from us.
Meantime, a member of Vice President Pence's staff has tested positive for COVID-19. A spokesperson says the unidentified staff member did not have close contact with either Pence or President Trump. A lot of people are feeling the effects of COVID-19 across the country. Hardworking people being laid off every day, but in some industries there's a surge in demand and companies are hiring. Fox 5's Alex Whitler joins us now live tonight from Buckhead. And Alex, you've been working all day to get a list of companies that are desperate for help.
That's right, Russ. There are jobs out there. Take, for example, Kroger behind me. They're hiring right now. But I did speak to people who've been laid off, and they tell me they're now grappling with the uncertainty of landing a job that's not in their specialized field. Are coming to a screeching halt across the country. Businesses small and large, flights, and as of Tuesday, Jesse McDougal's job at Chart Industries in Canton. The manufacturing company crafts tanks to sell overseas.
They brought me into a training room. It was about a handful of other people and said that they were going to have to terminate our employment at this time because they just don't have the work because of the coronavirus.
Just married a week ago Friday, McDougal was laid off 4 days after his wedding.
And plus, my insurance was about to kick in. I was almost there for the third month for the 90 days and was just receiving all my information in the mail from my insurance. So the timing really stinks.
McDougal is one of thousands of people across the country unexpectedly finding themselves back in the applicant pool. If you're one of them, you do have options, but you might have to consider a job outside of your field. Walmart is hiring 5,600 associates in Georgia, 150,000 nationwide. Online shopping giant Amazon announced it'll hire 100,000 workers to tackle a surge in online orders. Costco's website lists a wide variety of jobs across the U.S. You can visit your local Ingles on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for on-the-spot interviews. McDougal says he'll consider those options if he has to, but right now he hopes to land a job doing what he loves.
I'm a welder by trade, so hopefully I can find something in that.
Now, all of those jobs are just a few of the ones we've found. We've posted more on fox5atlanta.com, and you can hear the rest of them on Fox 5 News Edge at 11. Reporting in Atlanta, Alex Whitler, Fox 5 News.
All right, Alex, thanks. While some companies need new employees, others are just trying to get through the pandemic. As you know, many Americans are working from home right now, and that means supplies in the office are going to waste. That's why one local company decided to give all of their toilet paper away. Fox 5's Janice Yu spoke with the co-founder of that company. Janice?
Well, hi there, and you're absolutely right. As more people start working from home, this office, this PR firm, as well as many other offices will be empty for some time now. And the co-founder of this PR firm tells me that they got the idea for this, what they call a toilet paper exchange, after seeing all of the supplies they had in their closet before they started working remotely. Drive-through toilet paper toss, call it what you will. This was the scene on Howell Mill Road in Midtown Atlanta Friday afternoon. Toilet paper and hand sanitizer tossed into cars as they slowed down, passed out to people as they walked by.
There's a lot of people out here who need it, you know, so like myself, I wasn't able to get out and get too much supplies.
These in-demand items all found in the closets of the now temporarily vacant offices of Trevelino Keller and Giga Monster.
When we were closing our office for remote, we looked around at our supplies to see what we had, and we had about 100 or so rolls of toilet paper on hand.
Jenna Keller, co-founder of Trevelino Keller, says they ordered a little more while they could and came up with the idea to give them away for free. Giga Monster joined in after finding bottles of hand sanitizer.
Good job.
While the toss might be lighthearted, Keller says this has opened their eyes to a very real need in the community.
My reactions are probably a bit different than folks that have reached out to us. We've had retirement homes and nonprofits around the area who've reached out to us, and they do need toilet paper.
She hopes other companies will follow suit and empty out their supply closets to help those in need.
Other folks that are remote and have facilities are looking in their closets, in their shelves, and seeing what do they have that other folks may need that are at home that can't get them or don't have a way to get them. It's time to be creative.
Well, the company will be dropping off their extra supplies of toilet paper to retirement homes as well as nonprofits sometime this weekend. Live in Midtown, Janice Yu, Fox 5 News.
Very nice, Janice, thanks. Coronavirus taking the U.S. stock market on a wild ride, mostly downhill, and there are now allegations of congressional insider trading. Two Georgia senators are responding to those allegations tonight.
Police say a man started running away from them at a local apartment complex. The moment authorities say a police officer shot the man twice. Time now to take a look at our weather, and it's warmer outside. Things are blooming. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, a lot of uncertainty in the air, but one thing is clear. It's a perfect time to get outside, David.
Indeed, and I think you're going to have plenty of opportunity this weekend. Of course, we'll deal with a high pollen. We do that every year here in the month of March, and we're going to deal with a lot of dry hours, even though we got some rain in the outlook. Like tonight, we got a couple showers out there. Temperatures, for the most part, pretty mild to warm. Our average high temperature this time of year is 66. Here we are at 10 o'clock at night. It's 67 after hitting 83 this afternoon. All right, take a look at Fox 5 Live Viper, and you can see we've got some scattered showers up here across the northern counties. Yep, there in the North Georgia mountains, not real heavy. In and around town, we're dealing with some wet weather. There you go, from Marietta, Kennesaw down through Powder Springs and all the way out towards the Georgia-Alabama state line and I-20. And then down here to the south, we've got a pretty good rain coming out of Callaway Gardens, just in southern Meriwether County right now. And you see this little green line here that's showing up on Fox 5 Live Viper. We call that an outflow boundary. So if you're down there towards Meriwether County and Pike County, Spalding County, the wind probably picked up a little breezy. This is kind of acting like a mini front there, setting the stage for some showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder. We can't rule that out tonight, but I haven't seen anything in the last couple of hours until you get way back here in parts of Mississippi. No severe weather out there, so that is some great news. So as we make our way through tonight, still a few scattered showers through the early morning hours. Temperatures here kind of leveling off in the low and the mid 60s. Then we start seeing breaks in the clouds on your Saturday and Saturday afternoon. Not quite as warm as today, but still up above the average. We'll see some low to mid 70s here in town and point southbound, 60s up to the north. Another number that's going to be climbing. Now, Ryan Beasley will be here tomorrow. Good day, Atlanta. We'll see if this number continues to rise, but this is 10 times higher than it was yesterday. Extremely high due to all the tree pollen popping. Now, our peak period is going to be into March, first part of April, so you're going to have some allergies. Yeah, no doubt about it. Itchy eyes, the congestion, runny nose, and so forth, vastly different than what people are experiencing with the COVID-19. You need to know the difference. We've got more information on our website at fox5atlanta.com. Okay, here we go through tonight. The front comes dropping southbound, and behind it, not really cooler air, but a little bit. Yeah, we were in the 80s today. Again, we'll keep it in the 70s tomorrow and kind of clear things on out. But that's going to be kind of short-lived because by Sunday, we start seeing the clouds filter back in here early in the morning. Wake-up temperatures for the most part Sunday morning in the 50s. And then with that east-northeast wind, it's going to get us on Sunday, keeping our temperature there in the 50s and 60s in a lot of areas. But I'm holding off any showers until later in the afternoon. We start seeing that out here to the west and making its way from west to east. So we'll see some scattered showers Sunday night. More wet weather in here on Monday, I do believe. And then it's going to linger from Monday on into Tuesday as well, just kind of scattered about. That's when we're going to get our higher rainfall totals. So not much tonight. A little bit more in here from Sunday into Tuesday, as much as an inch, maybe a little more there parts of North Georgia. But no doubt about it, spring is in full swing now. Temperatures are going to be pretty warm tomorrow, and then a little bit cooler Sunday and Monday, and then we rocket right back up into the 80s in here along about the middle part of next week. Wow. Tonight, scattered showers, could even have a thunderstorm, otherwise cloudy and warm. Temperature in the low 60s. Average low this time of year is in the mid 40s. And then for tomorrow, we'll see kind of mostly cloudy to partly cloudy and warmer. Maybe in the low 70s later in the afternoon. Here's that extended outlook the way we see it. The rain comes back in here Sunday p.m. Likely on Monday, likely on Tuesday, tapering off on Wednesday when we see the big rise in temperature in here Wednesday and Thursday of next week. We'll continue to monitor the rain that's out there. We'll give you another look tonight at 11.
All right, sounds good, David. Thanks. You can count on Fox 5 for everything you need to know regarding the coronavirus. As you know, things are changing by the second.
Here are some of the biggest headlines from today. Let's start with the number of confirmed cases in Georgia. They jumped from 400 to 485, up from 287 yesterday. And 4 more people died today, bringing the death toll in the state to 14. More men are dying of the COVID-19 coronavirus than women. That's according to at least 3 major studies. Chinese researchers found that while the infection rate among men and women is the same, the death rate among men is 2.8% compared with 1.7% for women.
Illinois and New York State have joined California in ordering all residents to stay home. In addition, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has now ordered 100% of New York's workforce to work from home. Stocks sank to their worst week since the 2008 financial crisis today. The Dow dropped more than 900 points, extending its weekly loss to 17%. On the upside, though, the federal income tax filing deadline has been pushed back from April 15th to July 15th. You can still file early if you'd like to get your refund sooner.
Now, some have called for an ethics investigation. Others want them to resign. There is some outrage tonight after several U.S. senators reportedly sold off stocks after attending private briefings on the coronavirus outbreak in January. As Fox 5's Claire Sims reports now, both of Georgia's senators deny having any knowledge of those trades.
I have an outside professional that manages my personal finances. I'm not involved in the day-to-day. Georgia Senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler defend themselves Friday against what Loeffler describes as a baseless attack after reports that both of them used inside information to inform their stock trades over the last 2 months.
I'm not involved in the decisions around buying and selling. There's a range of different decisions made every day with regard to my savings and 401k portfolios that I'm not involved in.
Reports indicate both Georgia senators took part in closed-door briefings about the coronavirus outbreak on January 24th. And Senate financial disclosure reports show in the following weeks, Loeffler sold off more than $1 million in stocks while picking up shares in a software company known for teleworking products. In a statement, Alex Floyd with the Georgia Democratic Party says both senators owe their constituents an explanation. Georgians deserve senators who will put their health and safety first, not self-serving politicians using their positions to profit off a crisis. And the criticism isn't limited to Democrats.
To have this out there is very disheartening, and it's very, it just takes you back, and it shouldn't be happening.
Congressman Doug Collins is running against Senator Loeffler in November's special election. Reached via FaceTime, he says it's disturbing elected leaders would do something like that as Georgia businesses struggle to stay afloat. Georgia House Speaker David Ralston called the news a distraction and says it could hurt other Republicans running for office this fall.
Because we didn't pass a bill to move away from the jungle primaries in Georgia. This is a discussion that I am fearful will go on till November now.
When asked about the issue during a briefing this afternoon, President Trump said he didn't know much about it, but that they are all, quote, very honorable people. Claire Sims, Fox 5 News.
In a time of crisis, it's so important to know where you are getting your information. I'm sure you know it's easy for rumors to spread, and it's even easier for bad actors to try and incite panic and fear in their community. That's why U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo shared this message with Americans today.
Every American, indeed people all around the world, should ensure that where they turn to for information is a reliable source and not a bad actor trying to create and flow information that they know is wrong. This is a tough fight. The American people are tougher.
We've also had a lot of bad news lately, so it's equally important to remember to focus on the positive. President Trump touched on that during his White House coronavirus task force briefing today.
Thanks to the spirit of our people, we will win this war, and we're winning, and we're going to win this war. America will triumph, and America will rise higher than ever before. We'll be stronger than ever before.
American spirit is more important than ever during this pandemic.
In times of struggle, we see the true greatness of the American character.
With the threat of COVID-19,
I felt like I had a man laying on top of my chest and I couldn't breathe, and the weight of this man was like crushing me.
One of the first patients in Georgia is on his way to full recovery.
All of a sudden I felt breath going into me.
We're sharing his story. Plus, can technology help fill the demand for medical supplies?